Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
Tonight, a possible culprit. More than 2 weeks after deadly flooding in San Antonio, a Bexar County leader tells us why it was so severe. But we start here tonight. 5 children and the wife of the Boulder terrorism suspect are being detained now in South Texas.
And court records obtained by KSAT Investigates show they've been at the Dilley Immigration Processing Center for nearly a month. Earlier today, we told you some of the allegations made by detainees about the poor living conditions at that facility.
So the family's attorney is telling KSAT Investigates' Daniela Ibarra what it's been like for them and also why they believe the detention is unlawful.
They should not be forced to suffer another day, another hour in Dilley facility.
A plea for due process.
These are children who need therapy. These are not children who pose any danger to the community.
Attorney Eric Lee is talking about the family of the suspect in the deadly Boulder firebombing on demonstrators in support of Israeli hostages. Days after the attack, the White House said ICE detained the suspect's wife, Hayam El Gamal, and their 5 children, the youngest being 4 years old, with plans for expedited removal. None of them have been accused in the attack.
Does the Department of Homeland Security and its spokespersons and does Donald Trump think that a 4-year-old helped plot what took place on June 1st? This is totally absurd.
The family, who overstayed their visas, had been seeking asylum. Lee says his clients have been cooperating and are now being punished for a crime they didn't commit.
You can't detain somebody in this country as punishment for the actions of somebody else.
It's why they filed a lawsuit, claiming they're being unlawfully detained at the Dilley Immigration Processing Center, about 70 miles southwest of San Antonio.
What has it been like for them to be in that facility?
This family has been suffering tremendously. They have been kept together in unsanitary conditions with food that is not suitable for human beings, drinking foul water.
Those are concerns shared by several others detained in Dilley. In a separate lawsuit, families claim food and water at the facility makes kids sick and say children are denied medical attention.
They should not spend any more time in detention.
In court filings, the feds are asking the judge to dismiss the lawsuit. We also reached out to ICE for this story. A spokesperson told us they don't comment on pending litigation. For KSAT Investigates, I'm Daniela Ibarra.
And speaking of immigration and customs enforcement, for weeks now, KSAT's been tracking migrants detained by ICE outside immigration court in downtown San Antonio. And while that continues, attorneys say there's been a troubling shift. More migrants are starting to not show up for their hearings, and more minors are now being detained.
So we know most days a white bus waits on Dolorosa Street, and on rare occasions it leaves empty. But more often, migrants whose cases are dismissed are taken into custody. Most are transferred to detention centers in Pearsall, Dilley, or Karnes County. Tomorrow, a rally and march against these types of detainments will be taking place outside the immigration court. That starts at 8 a.m. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office identifying a deputy who shot at a stolen vehicle suspect 7 times back on June 21st. They say Angel Inoles actually was the deputy who tried to pull over the driver of the suspected stolen vehicle, which led to a chase in southeast Bexar County. 2 days later, on the 23rd, KSAT obtained home video of the events between Ornelas as he shot at the suspect's car. Again, the deputy shot at the stolen vehicle 7 times, hitting the suspect, Joshua Garcia, 3 times. Garcia taken to the hospital for treatment, but later discharged and arrested. The deputy has been with BCSO since December of 2023. He's been placed on administrative leave. Tonight, we're seeing what got a San Antonio police officer suspended for 5 days. The officer in question here was accused of violating SAPD procedures while responding to an incident. Yeah, it all takes place within a 4-minute span. He cursed at least 19 times at a man on the scene. Take a listen to this.
The reason why we're here is because somebody called in a suspicious vehicle. The window was rolled down, looked suspicious. I'm not done talking.
Everybody in the complex knows that that's my vehicle. I know everybody in this building.
I don't give a who you know. I don't give a who knows you. We got a call for somebody saying that the vehicle looks suspicious.
That was Officer Eric Padilla speaking to the car owner of what he called a suspicious vehicle that police were called to check out. This incident is from back in April. We watched the full body cam video from Padilla and his fellow officer, Jaron Falcon, who was responding with him that day.
So while the officers were checking out the reported suspicious vehicle, the car's alarm went off as they opened the door. And that's when the car's owner came onto his apartment balcony to turn the alarm off. He started yelling at the officers to try and figure out what was going on. And then a few minutes later, the car's owner came downstairs and then spoke with Padilla and Falcon. Now, he tried to tell the officers that he was having issues with his vehicle, and that's why it was parked on the side of the street instead of within the apartment complex.
And while early on in the footage, you can hear Padilla tell Falcon that this was his call and he could take the lead, Padilla still did most of the talking in this incident.
Did I commit a crime?
Look, I'm telling you.
I'm telling you right now, did I commit a crime?
I'm telling you, go back inside your apartment. Nothing else is going to happen with your
Is
car.
my vehicle going to be towed?
While we only shared parts of the body cam footage with you, it is important to note the car owner started the interaction with police by saying a cuss word when he was talking to them from the balcony.
So according to the suspension paperwork, Officer Padilla violated SAPD's rule about being courteous and respectful when dealing with the public and not acting in a way that made him or the department look bad. It also went on to say that the nature of the call did not justify the use of cuss words and that it unnecessarily escalated the situation. Padilla was suspended from June 5th through June 9th.
Normally in the morning you see runners and walkers, joggers, people trying to get a good workout. And then of course the homeless that are waking up. So, I think it was just a freak accident.
A freak accident, that's what one local man who frequents the Riverwalk had to say after a man's body was found floating in the San Antonio River, not far from Main Plaza. San Antonio police are trying to figure out how old that man was and how long his body had been in the water. For now, this is what investigators have told us. The discovery made in the river right off of Vietas Street near the Lock Bridge for locals, a popular spot in the downtown area. San Antonio police say a person walking by, the one who found that body. We still don't know who the person is that was found, how old they are, how they died, or how long they were in the river. There are also no signs of trauma on the person's body. The investigation's still ongoing. We'll, of course, update you with any information as we get it.
Now, tonight, we have a possible answer as to why the June 12th flood at Beidle Creek was so severe. A county commissioner says it's the concrete. So who could forget the images showing all the destruction? You see it right there from the rising waters. And to give you a different perspective, we're going to show you a map, that right there, that KSAT created. You see the deadly 1.5-mile stretch on the northeast side where 11 people died. That area right there is within Precinct 4 of Bexar County, which that man, Commissioner Tommy Calvert, represents. So I spoke with him earlier today off camera. He's been collecting information on the flooding so that he and other leaders know how to move forward and they know how to prevent disasters like what we saw on June 12th. Commissioner Calvert says that he met with engineers who looked at a 5-mile radius along the flooded Beidle Creek area, and they told him, based on a preliminary analysis, that the concrete in the flooding area is what made the water rise so quickly. You see, trees and other forms of vegetation would normally absorb some of that rainwater, but the concrete that's there just made it flow quicker. June 12th, San Antonio measured 6.3 inches of rain, which, yes, is enough, especially if it's rushing, to move a car. Now, city leaders are also investigating the deadly floods, and we do expect an update on their findings in about 3 weeks.
And today we learned more about the 13th person who died in those floods. This is 78-year-old Esther Chung. She's originally from South Korea. Our Zaria Oates has been following the flooding and has been speaking with families over the past 2 weeks. She's now sharing what we know about Esther.
On the left is Ha-Sung Gil, and on the right is Tae Hartman, the two people in San Antonio who knew Esther Chung best. According to them, Esther has lived in San Antonio for at least a few years.
I just got to know a year ago at Korean Presbyterian Church. I met her.
But during the June 12th flooding, Esther died alongside 12 other people who were caught in the current and swept away.
조금 불쌍하다 그런 생각이 많이 들어요.
He says he feels very sorry for her, and then kind of sad because she lost her life.
While Ha-Sung Gil doesn't speak English, during the flooding, he was the first person to hear Esther's plea for help.
She tried driving to Onnuri Church, but she didn't know at that day flooding area. I think in the morning 5:40 a.m.
And she called him while the floodwaters were rising?
Yeah. So she called him, and he called his younger brother. They called 911.
By the time help could get there, it was too late. All he could see is his car that he let her drive to church, almost fully submerged in the floodwaters. Now they're remembering who Esther was to them.
So they've been friends. So when she needed to go hospital shopping, he was driving for her. But church is very close. Here to 5-7 minutes she can drive. So she loves Jesus, she believed in God.
What was she like as a person to both of you?
She liked to, she been live the alternation her lifetime. She loves the beautiful clothes, beauty.
While there aren't many pictures to reflect the life she lived, Hassan Gil holds the ones he does have close to his heart.
Esther, I love you.
Zaria Oates, KSAT 12 News.
There's a funeral service planned for her this upcoming week. For everything we know about the deadly flooding, the victims, and all the developments that have happened since that night, head to this article on KSAT.com.
And we had some tropical downpours today, luckily not problematic, just good beneficial rain that doesn't cause flash flooding. Now on the far west side, Pedro V sent this in. Look at that, over an inch, about 1.25 inches in his backyard. And that was really the sweet spot around San Antonio and Bexar County. Wherever you see green on this map, you have at least 1/2 inch of rain. And in and around San Antonio, that was generally the west side and the far west side, right around 1604, 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rainfall. More opportunities for rain on the way, and even some tropical downpours. I'll let you know when to expect it and what to expect in just a bit.
All right, Adam, thank you. Now, coming up, we have a fun question for you. What would you do if you won the lottery? It's nice to dream, right? Well, that's something the entire country of Norway is thinking about right now.
And during the summer, blood donations drop, but there's an event happening tomorrow that we hope will change that. We're going to tell you how you can get involved. During the summer months, blood donations tend to decline. Together, KSAT Community and the South Texas Blood and Tissue Bank are organizing a blood donor registration phone bank tomorrow, July 1st, from 9 in the morning to 7 p.m. People will be available to answer any questions you may have. Any questions. What's it like? How big are the needles? We have details about the blood donor registration drive on KSATcommunity.com. Hope you ask some of those questions tomorrow.
Big celebration this morning. The Bear Bulverde Fire Department celebrated the groundbreaking for a new fire station. There it is. That one there is near Canyon Gulf Road and East Borgfield Drive. So the department says that they really needed this. That department serves around 65,000 people in that area.
Yeah, the new fire station will also have a training facility, updated technology to protect firefighters.
What's nice about this station also is we can add some cancer for protection protect the firefighters from that exposure. There will be airlocks between the apparatus room and the bays to keep them from the smoke and the soot and all that kind of stuff. And we're adding some other cancer prevention elements as well.
The new fire station will replace an old station that was built more than 50 years ago.
All right, switching gears, let's talk about what's on tap for the rest of the week. Here's a live look at the live cam right now. 74 degrees out there. Some people got some rain earlier this afternoon, Adam, and it looks like it's going to be that way all week.
Yeah, we'll have more opportunities for some of these tropical downpours to move in, and we'll see it, I think, especially Wednesday and Thursday afternoons is where we'll see the next more appreciable accumulations like what we had today. All right, let's get to our headlines. Again, spotty afternoon downpours, not just showers, but some of those tropical downpours that are brief but heavy, especially Wednesday and Thursday. 4th of July, mainly just sunny and I think generally dry. We do have a 20% chance in there right now, but I'm ready to yank that 20% out of the forecast. We'll just give it a little bit more time. Even if we did have a few showers pop up on 4th of July, it would not impact the evening activities. So tomorrow, 30% chance. Wednesday, Thursday, we're up to 40%, so scattered in nature. Now keep in mind, this is typically between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. The brief but heavy downpours. No hail and no flooding with these types of tropical afternoon downpours. I mean, call them tropical. Think of the tropics where it's sunny during most of the day, and then in the afternoon and evening, you get some of those heavy downpours and it clears out again by sunset and especially thereafter. Today across the state, decent coverage. South and central Texas and off to the north, there's some activity. That's not going to be heading our way. That's not going to make it here. Actually, our sky is going to be gradually clearing out overnight. But the situation in general that we're watching, it's leftover tropical moisture and rain-making energy that was in the southern Gulf. Now it's moving up the east coast of Mexico here and starting to surge its way into south and then soon central Texas as well. And basically we're looking at very saturated air from the ground all the way up to 20,000 feet or higher. A lot of moisture. And that helps when it comes to rain chances and helping to generate some of the showers and downpours, and with it, some of the rain-making energy as well. We just think most of it tomorrow, especially the rain-making energy, will be west, closer to the Rio Grande, so Del Rio, Quemado, Eagle Pass, even to Crystal City, Carrizo Springs, and Uvalde. That's where we have slightly higher odds. We get to Wednesday, and that's when some of that rain-making energy moves into and closer to San Antonio and surrounding areas. In turn, we boosted the rain chances a little bit, back to 40% for Wednesday and Thursday. Again, not everybody's going to get it, but where we do, we'll have some downpours, and you could easily get a ½ inch to an inch of rain over the span of, say, 30 minutes or so. Notice the temperature, 93, that was our high today. That's exactly average. And we did get 1/100th of an inch of rain officially at the airport. But as I showed you earlier, far west side around 1604, even Alamo Ranch area, ½ inch to an inch. So the total for the month at the airport, 7.47 inches. And that's 4.19 above average. But we actually still need more. We really do. 73 in the morning tomorrow, 86 at noon, 92 in the afternoon. Notice not too hot. We're looking at even some upper 80s in the hill country. July 1st in south central Texas, and we don't even have triple digits on the map. We only had 3 triple-digit days so far this year, and that was in early May in San Antonio. Notice 4th of July, mid-90s, sunny. I think mainly dry again. We may be pulling out that 20% chance. We're really focusing some of that scattered activity for the evening commute time Wednesday and Thursday. Then this weekend, sunny, and we are just in the mid-90s for afternoon highs. Hey, the warmest 4th of July, 103. That was back in 2009. The coolest, 64. Little tidbit for you.
Wow. It'll be a while before we see a number like that. All right. Thank you.
All right, so the Spurs signed a free agent, and it is a big man, Larry.
And I think it's the perfect big man for the Spurs. Luke Cornett, formerly of the Boston Celtics. He's turned into your old school big man. He wants to score in the paint. He wants to protect the paint. He used to fire up a lot of threes, but the production from downtown has certainly dropped off for him. And Mary Rominger caught up with the Corinthians today, and she's got more coming up.
Yeah, penalties are my thing.
The voice of United States goalkeeper Matt Freese, who stepped up during PKs in Big Board Sports. The Spurs have agreed to a 4-year, $41 million deal with free agent center Luke Cornett per ESPN. He's played 8 seasons in the NBA for the Knicks, Bulls, Cavs, Bucks, and the Celtics. This last season was the most action he's seen in his career, starting 16 games and playing a total of 73, averaging 6 points and 5.3 rebounds per game. The 7'1" center shot 498 three-pointers in his first 4 NBA seasons, but he's only attempted 27 total threes the past 4 seasons. Jordan Clarkson and the Utah Jazz have agreed to a contract buyout. The former Wagner High School star is 33 years old and averaged 16.2 points per game last season. Clarkson will be entering his 12th year in the NBA, and he has played for the Lakers, Cavs, and Jazz. Clarkson is expected to join a playoff contender. In the WNBA, the Las Vegas Aces sent their 2027 first-round draft pick to the Dallas Wings for Nalissa Smith. The East Central alum was traded by the Fever to the Wings earlier this year, and she played in 18 games for Dallas, averaging 6.7 points and 4 4.9 rebounds per contest. Turning to soccer, a women's Premier Soccer League team lives right here in San Antonio. Corinthians FC competes in the Lone Star Conference of the WPSL and crams in 9 games in 1 month. While winning is valued, the club's long-term goal is to send players to college or the pros. Here's Mary Rominger on how local talent is fueling the team.
Hey Larry, yeah, the WPSL is a proving ground for talent with teams across the country from California to New York. But specifically here in the Alamo City, the Corinthians FC roster is a testament to the soccer culture in San Antonio, packed with homegrown talent, the area's top collegiate players, and complemented by its luring of international talent.
We want to be a team or a club that finds local talent, basically like the trampoline for young players to jump off and go into a higher level.
Take the South Side, for example, often overlooked but still producing gems like Diana Perez, a South San High School senior, newer to football, but already making an impact, scoring in her debut on Saturday.
To be honest, there's things that I do now that I did not think I would be able to do. If you ask freshman me, where I am now, I would not believe you.
It doesn't stop there. Players are emerging across the region. Cameron Hutton is a Lytle High School alum turned Auburn star. And for Abigail and Annabelle Rodriguez, soccer is all they know.
It's just my dad and my sister and me, and so that's really how we formed our bonds. We're always working out, going to the gym, and we're just very passionate about playing.
I've had a lot of teammates over the years go to Mexico, go play up in the next level.
They give dreams to a lot of us who are, younger. A lot of younger kids dream to going pro, and I feel like they have a path for that.
Well, there's no doubt Corinthians FC is a launch pad for local stars and beyond to chase their dreams. From the Corinthians practice facility, Mary Rominger, KSAT 12 Sports. Larry, back to you.
Full team effort. I think it really shows the energy and the mentality of the group to come back from 1-0.
Goalie Matt Freese and the U.S. topped Costa Rica 4-3 in a shootout in yesterday's Gold Cup quarterfinal. The U.S. will next face Guatemala in the Gold Cup semifinals Wednesday night in St. Louis. Texas State is Pac-12 bound after the break.
The past 5 or so hours was the Board of Regents call approving the move, and then me jumping out of my office and running down the hallway and high-fiving people.
Texas State Director of Athletics Don Coryell is thrilled that the Bobcats would join the new Pac-12 beginning with the 2026-27 season. The Texas State University Systems Board of Regents voted to lead the Sun Belt Conference during a meeting this morning. Texas State is now one of 9 foundational members of the new Pac-12.
And just seeing the excitement on our coaches' faces, on our staff's faces, this is a massive moment for us, man. Moving into, having the opportunity to move into a league like the Pac-12, where we're going to be able to compete against some of the best institutions in the country. I think it's going to be one of the top 5 football and men's basketball leagues in the country. It's going to increase our national visibility. It's going to allow us to recruit at a higher level.
And we're talking with some of our Texas State alum here in the building. They seem to like the move.
Yeah, big time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks, Larry.
Thank you. We'll be right back.